Happy Thursday, everybody. How is everybody doing today? I hope you guys are doing well. Figured I would hop on for a quick video with some unique insight into the real estate process. It's not a big macro data-driven video, but just wanted to tell you something that I've learned within the business, right? So the ultimate thing, one of the quality hallmarks of a good agent is to be a fiduciary. And I like to think of fiduciary as a real fancy term, but you try to serve people with the heart of a teacher, right? So just want to relay an experience that we had. We had a property out north of Wagner. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath property listed for $230. Me and my buyer negotiated down to $220 and then asked for $6,000 back in concession from the seller, okay? And then we went through our normal process in due diligence. So due diligence obviously is your time where you can cover all the bases you will as it relates to the property before you're really ready set to deliver earnest money and proceed to closing, right? So in this scenario, one of the requirements of that is a property inspection. So we went out, had the inspection, inspector did a good job. When it came back, there were quite a few things that my buyer was concerned about with the condition of the home, okay? And so he's like, Wes, I'm not gonna pay more than $180 to buy this home. Now keep in mind, we're under contract at $220. So I said, okay, Mr. Buyer, I totally respect that. I'm in agreement with you on that because my job is to serve you. So we wrote up a standard addendum to lower the price from $220 to $180 without a concession, all right? So after doing all of that, I did think, I'm like, the seller is probably not gonna go for this. And I told my buyer, and I said, hey, I'm gonna write up a termination, okay? So we terminate within due diligence so we can get out of this without any penalty to you, okay? And so wrote up a termination as well, all right? So sent over the addendum requesting and I sent the inspection, requested that they lower the price from $220 to $180, okay? And then I had a signed termination, which if the seller was gonna balk at that, which I felt like the seller would, I felt like the seller's gonna be like, I ain't doing this, I'm not cutting the price $40,000. So I'm like, in that situation, I already knew that for my buyer, he wasn't gonna go above 180. So then we just terminate and we go back on market, go and try and find another property that worked for him. Well, the seller came back and they accepted, okay? So I bring that up to say, my perception as an agent, which I've had a lot of closings, I've had 5 years experience doing this as a career, was like, okay, we probably need to terminate. But we went ahead and sent the addendum, even though I thought that they might be like, yeah, they're not gonna agree to this, but I'm gonna do it to serve my buyer. So ultimately, at the end of the day, you know, the old adage is true, serve your buyer first, not the transaction, okay? And it all works out. In this scenario, seller was happy to sell at 180, buyer was happy at 180, both parties were satisfied, and it worked out. If the seller had come back, we still could have exited. But it's just a recent experience, so wanted to share that. Hope you guys have a fantastic day. The weather's beautiful. I feel like a weatherman as much as I talk about the weather, but if you're doing something outside today, I hope you enjoy it. Take care, be blessed. We'll talk at you later. All right, bye.